Greetings, beautiful people. I hope you're having a wonderful, blessed day, night, or evening. If you aren't, just remember, God loves you. I love you. You are so loved. All right, guys, we made it. This is the 100th episode of this podcast. To God be all the glory. I'm shocked because I didn't even know I had that many episodes in me, but to God be all the glory. This is awesome. So today we're going to switch it up just a little bit, and we're going to talk about power of choice. The power of choice. This is, I feel, a very important topic in these times because based on our choices, our actions and decisions, we can really create a better future, a better present, and even heal our past, or we can create a worse future, a scary present, and give us more trauma from the past. So with this being said, let's get into this whole thing. And as we celebrate this 100th episode, I just want to start off by giving a little backstory. Back in 2020, and many of you already might know if you've been listening this whole little journey, but there was this little nudge that I was getting about starting a podcast, and I wasn't necessarily really into it at the time. I was very reserved, very shy, didn't really want to express myself, didn't really know how to at that point. I had a lot to say, but didn't really know how to say it or convey it. And so I just kept getting this urge, this desire, this determination to start this podcast. And I went about it in many different ways. At first, I was scared of even speaking by myself. So I almost started it with a group of people. And over time, God just kind of, showed some stuff. And then eventually it became, there was so much that I just had to say. One day I just picked up the phone and started recording without the equipment, without anything. I just started it. And it was that choice that has brought me all the way to this point, and some of you guys to this point. So the power of choice is very important because whatever you do can truly alter your future in a good way or a bad way, positive way or negative way. So let's get into this whole thing. Off the bat, you have to know your rights. You have to know your rights as a being, okay? Choosing is a right. You have the right to choose. That is an ability that we all have, not only me, but you. And only you have the choice to choose, all right? Now, this is a big thing here because God has given us free will to make any choice. And this is why we have to make sure that we're making the right choices. And some may say there is no right choice, but honestly, from my life, what I've learned is based on whatever choice you make, blessings are going to manifest or lessons. And if you have a positive perspective, then you know that lessons are also blessings in disguise. So maybe there really is no wrong choice. Now, every day we have choices, and whatever choice we make, again, can alter our future and even open up endless possibilities. You think about it, as soon as you pop those eyes open out and get out of bed, the world is your quote unquote oyster. And maybe you have obligations throughout the day, so you won't be able to make every choice that you want to. But when you get those intuitive nudges to do something, always do them. Whether it's something positive or creative or out of love, do it. Maybe it's something that just tells you, don't jump out of bed. Just breathe for 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Just take a deep breath. Trust that and do that. That is the right choice. You never know what that just little breath or just little time breathing is going to open for you. Whatever doors are going to open for your day or how they're going to bless your day. You have the choice to speak life or death. Choices are very, very important and powerful. And you got to know your rights. Don't ever let anyone take your right to choose. And if anyone does, then you never chose to begin with. No one can choose for you because then it's not your choice. Now let's get into this free will thing, because free will is very important in this whole topic. The free will is the free choice of will. Now, what is will? When you think of will is a firm desire or determination, the will to succeed, willpower, right? And so now we talked about negative choices and positive choices. Now, the power of positive choices means you can create a better present and a better future, and also even heal your past depending on whatever that choice is. So maybe in the present, you decide to take on therapy or go to counseling, that is something that can have great benefit to your future, your present, and your past. That one choice can completely heal your world in a sense, especially if you go into it with good intention, going into it with wanting to heal, desiring to heal, the determination to heal. Then you're going to get out what you want, right? That is a powerful choice that you can make in the present. But there are many choices we can make, right? And you always have at least two choices. And that's how many people see it, black or white, right? Good or bad. There's always at least two choices. But when you open your mind, and this is me, I always take a step back, take a couple deep breaths before I can make any decision, and really see, okay, where are my possibilities, right? Because honestly, there are infinite possibilities on either decision you make. And whatever decision you make, you can kind of see that there is always a third option, or maybe a fourth option, especially if you give your mind a second to process whatever choice you're going to make, right? Wild example. Or not wild, but recent example. And to God be all the glory. Shout out to the Most High, because he's always taking care. But I was in the market for purchasing a car, and I went to go get this car, and I got there, and they didn't have it on the lot. And I had my heart set on buying this car. I was ready to purchase it and everything, but they didn't have it on the lot because they had recalled it for some mechanical issues, right? And so they had another car on the lot, and it was nice, and it was the same design, just a different color, and it was, it was cool. And I was like, okay, well, maybe, I guess I'd be settling for this option if I want for it. And so, I had the choice. Either I buy that defective car, or I buy this car that's on the lot and I can leave with it that day, or I get the defective car and wait until they fix it. And so, that was the choice I had to make, these two decisions. And I took a deep breath, and I said, I'm going to go with neither. I took my happy self back home with my money in hand and everything. And I just prayed, and I asked God to open that door. And even the choice to just surrender it to God was the best choice in that instance, because the moment I surrendered to God, I literally said, all right, God, it's out of my hands. I'm going to sleep. And I took me a nap. And when I woke up, I was blessed, because they had been working on a custom car, and they showed it to me, and it was beautiful. And I'm like, yep, I want this. This is the one I want. And I'm just waiting and taking that moment back and just allowing God to work behind the scenes. A whole new possibility was open for me, and I was able to get that car. So to God be all the glory, because it's like a dream car for me. But that's just, an example of choices that we can make. And whether you view it as a good or bad choice, at the end of the day, you have to know how to not live in regret, and to know that everything happens for a reason. God's plan is not mocked, all right? God is not mocked. God is awareness. God knows, all right? Anyways, let's jump back into this whole thing. Another examples of possibilities, infinite possibilities that you can have in any circumstance, and we'll just do a random one. Let's say you and a person, or maybe me and you, maybe we getting into it a little bit. Let's make this real personal. Me and you are having a disagreement or different views on things. I know many of my audience listeners, people who support me, we don't always view eye to eye on everything, and that's how it should be, because we all have our unique perspectives, and I think that's beautiful. So let's say, we're getting into a disagreement, and you have a couple different options. Now, ask yourself this. Out of all of these options, what would you choose? A, you can yell at me and establish dominance. B, you can beat me up, like we have a whole fight. Now you just pow, 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 beating me down, right? C, you can express how you feel in a honest and sincere way. Or D, you can choose to allow the situation to be what it is, let it go, and move forward in life. E, all of the above. So maybe you want to yell at me, beat me up, express why you did it, and then move forward after. Hey, that stuff like that actually happens. But these are all just random choices, and ask yourself what you would choose. Personally, me, I'm gonna be C or D. I'm either gonna express how I feel in hopes that it helps to bring understanding on the table, or I'm just going to move forward past the situation, because ain't nobody got time to be fighting. Me in 2022, love and peace. We choose peace over war. We choose love over fear. Ain't nobody got time for that. But whatever choice you would choose, that will kind of tell you where your choices are and how you move, you know. If you really pay attention to what I just said as far as A and B, you'll see that the first two, I guess, options or choices were made out of fear, where the last two were made out of love. So A, you know, yelling at someone to establish some form of dominance, that's a very ego way. And ego mostly moves out of fear, right? Because it's trying to protect something. B, fighting somebody. When you lose words, you enter into aggression. And then that's another way to move out of ego or fear. And then C was to express yourself, your feelings, sincerely. And this is the heart. This is love. You know, love expresses itself authentically and sincerely. And then D, choosing to move forward or let the situation go and moving forward in love. That's just another example of love. And then all of the above. You know, this is why I put all of the above in there, because I know that there's situations where that actually does happen. And then maybe in the midst of whatever is going on, it clicks in somebody's head and they're like, man, I don't even want to be doing this. I love you. It is what it is. Let's move forward. And then that's how they, you know, calm the storm or whatever. The whole point is you have many choices. There's not always just one choice. And the more you can become present in the moment and take a deep breath and realize that you don't even have to make a right away choice in that very second, in that very moment. And maybe there's a situation when you're in high pressure and it feels like you do have to make that choice. You know, I'm a fan of talking to God first. You know, I try to run everything through God, even the topics I speak about, whether it's through prayer or asking. I just try to talk to God. I have that communion. You know, I'll just go inside for a second and say my prayers, and, you know, either pick up on intuition or look for a sign. And either way, I'm making that choice to trust God with whatever decision I make. And I know that might sound weird to somebody, but it's necessary. It's necessary in these times because, you know, every choice and decision is powerful, and it has the power to alter your future for either better or worse. And again, that also goes for the perspective. But the one thing I know and I've learned is if the choice is made with love or good intention, then it's the right choice. It is not the wrong choice. If you're moving out of love, if you're moving out of good intent, then it's the right choice. Whatever you're doing is gonna be a blessing. It's not gonna be a lesson because your intent is right. You're moving with the right heart, the right mind, and that's a beautiful thing to do. So just remember that whatever choices you have in your life, whatever decisions you have in your life, try to find a healthy, medium, harmony, or move out of love, good intent, whatever the case may be. Just know that it all comes down to you. It's your choice, your decision. Even the choice to choose God, that is your choice. You don't have to do that. However, the benefits are nice. I'm just saying God's love is unmatched. Hey, just speaking for somebody that lives in love, God's love is unmatched. No cap. Good mercy, good grace, good God, straight up. But that is the end of this podcast. I know it was really quick. I just want to express that because it's important to make good decisions. It is because I know everybody wants to have their best life. They want to be the best version of themselves. They want to have the best. They want to experience the best experiences. And sometimes the only way to do that is by getting up and making positive choices. The choice to breathe, the choice to exercise, the choice to better yourself in any way, whether that's just taking care of yourself more or getting down to business, whatever the case may be. It's hobbies, the choice to actually go after your dreams. This is important because earlier I mentioned that every day we have choices and no one can choose for you, because the moment that someone chooses for you, it is not your choice anymore. You have the choice. You have to do what's right for your soul, for your heart, for your mind. And, always keep God first, of course, and whatever decisions you're making, you want to make sure it aligns with God's word, his will. Of course, gotta plug that in there. But at the end of the day, if you got all that in you, then you know what you're doing is out of goodness and love. And that's all that matters. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys literally for listening and supporting this podcast. It's such a blessing. I'm very, very grateful. I hope you guys are blessed just as much I've been blessed from this podcast, because God knows this has been a beautiful journey. Just all of it. Every word of expression, every time I've just been able to, conquer my own fears through this podcast. Show love. There's so much that I've always wanted to say and share. And growing up in the environments that I wasn't always able to express how I wanted to. So this has been just the best platform for me to do that. And I thank you guys for listening and just hearing me. It feels good to be heard. It feels good to be heard. And, I hope that you guys are inspired to go after your dreams and get out of your comfort zone and do things that will better you and just improve your whole life. To God be all the glory. This is such a beautiful journey, and I'm glad you guys are on it with me. Thank you so much for listening again. I love you. God loves you, and have a beautiful, blessed day.